Hello, fellow traders. Nutty Bar Trading coming to you, and we're gonna try and make this video again. I'm starting to think maybe I'm not supposed to make this video because this is now the fourth time that I'm recording this. Thanks to some of I forget to name everyone, but No Futures I know was one of them, letting me know that my audio was cut out about halfway through my other video that I had uploaded. So if you saw that video and halfway through the audio cut out, sorry. This is another video to take place of that one. Hopefully I don't have any issues, and I'll try and do a better job of editing and proofing my videos before I upload them. So, but this video is for the beginner. The beginner trader, not beginner trader, but if you're new to prop firms, if you just signed up with Apex Trader Funding and you want to know what they're about, what you can expect, and the process from step 1 to step 10, this is the video for you. If you just have heard about prop firms and you want to know how they work and you haven't signed up, this is also for you. And if I guess maybe there's something in here that would help you or clear things up, even if you've been with Apex Trader Funding for quite some time. But basically, I'm going to go from all the way through the process of setting up an Apex account to getting a payout and what you can expect. I'm going to try and cover all of their rules and just kind of informational video of Apex Trader Funding and any questions that you might have had. Hopefully I can answer them. If I don't, please leave a comment in the description or down below, and I'll be sure to answer them if I can. But also, just if you're new, this channel, I basically trade Apex Trader Funding accounts. I'm not sponsored by Apex by any means. I do have an affiliate link, and you'll see in a little bit. I have a coupon code if you're interested, but they don't sponsor this video or anything like that. This is completely my view on Apex Trader Funding. I've done a lot of research on different prop firms, and for me personally, I think Apex Trader Funding is the best option out there. They're reputable. They have a really good history of paying people out. They've paid in the last since 2022, I think they've paid out over $18 million to customers, to their prop firm traders. So definitely reputable. You don't need to worry about not getting paid out. They are definitely legit. So that's why I went with them. They also have rules that are easy to understand and simple. But yeah, that's kind of, I trust them, and that's why I'm with them. Hopefully you come to the same conclusion. Obviously, if you don't, that's okay too. But let's get started. Yeah, everything you need to know about Apex Trader Funding. We're just kind of going to go through this slideshow, and I'll kind of do a voiceover as we go. So the first step is to choose your platform. That is very important, because when you sign up to Apex, and you have to determine if you want to use NinjaTrader and Rhythmic, or if you want to use Tradeovate. If you want to, because there's people that prefer to trade on Tradeovate, and that's what they're comfortable with. And if that's the case, then you need to make sure that you select the correct account for Tradeovate. I'm actually here. I'm just going to show you real quick. Switch over to their actual website. This is what their website looks like. If you scroll down, you'll see the first one you come to, it says select your Rhythmic / NinjaTrader plan. So these are the plans you want to select if you want to trade on NinjaTrader and Rhythmic. Keep scrolling down and you'll see select your Tradeovate / NinjaTrader plan. These are the accounts you want to select when you want to trade on Tradeovate. And you can see the Tradeovate plans are about $20 a month more expensive. So just so you know, I think they have a little more data fees and stuff like that. that they incur on Trade-Of-8, but some people prefer to trade on Trade-Of-8, and once you apply the 80% discount, it's really not that big of a difference on the cost. So anyway, that's the first step. Moving on, I'm going to try and move through this video in a timely fashion so the video doesn't run too long. But then number 2 is to choose your account size. So obviously very important as well to, whoop, I forgot to switch my screens. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. So number 2, choose your account size. So here we have, you can see here the profit goal and trailing threshold. That's really what is important. And you can see the different size accounts. There's different profit goals and different trailing thresholds. So just look at everything, make sure that you understand it, and before you choose your account size. Now, I did an in-depth video and an account analysis on all of these different accounts. I'll put a link to that video in the description below. But basically, I looked at what might be the best account for you, and I broke it down based off profit goal, off the trailing threshold, and what it costs, everything included. So I'll put click on that video if you're not sure which account is the right one for you. For me, the right account for me was a $50,000 account. It just kind of fitted what I wanted to do, and the cost was attractive as well. So make your own decision on that. Then moving on, enter a coupon code. Once you click on an account, it's going to ask, and obviously filling in your information, but please enter a coupon code. Apex is almost always running a sale of some sort, and just make sure that you use a coupon code. Obviously, this is my coupon code. I would, if you use this coupon code, you'd be supporting the channel and supporting me. I would really appreciate it. That'd be awesome. But if you don't want to use mine, that's okay. Just make sure that you use a coupon code, because you're going to leave a lot of money on the table. Right now, Apex is running an 80% discount sale. So obviously worth entering a coupon code. So make sure that you do that. Also, just a note, this coupon code will always offer the best discount that Apex is offering. So you don't need to worry about changing a code or using a different code for different sales. This code will always get you the best discount code available. Also, I have a link in the description below as an affiliate link. If you sign up using that, you'd be supporting the channel. I would appreciate it. And then you can actually use another coupon code that's sometimes easier to remember, is SAVE80. SAVE80 will also get you the 80% discount. So hopefully that makes sense. Moving on, step number 4 is to set up and connect your trading platform. I'm not going to go in depth about that. But basically, go to NinjaTrader or go to Apex website. They have an in-depth step-by-step guide on how to do that for Trade-Of-8 or for NinjaTrader. Then the next thing, before you start trading, make sure you understand the rules. This is very important and sometimes overlooked, and then it causes issues down the road if you start trading and not understanding what those rules are. So first is, it is not complicated. That's one reason I like Apex, is just their rules are not that complicated. There's not multiple steps you need to do. There's not a bunch of different rules that you need to follow. So the do's basically reach the profit goal. Again, that will depend on what account size you select. And then you need to trade for 7 days. Really, those two things, that's the only thing you need to do. And once you've done that, you have passed the evaluation account and you are funded. One question that gets asked a lot is, let's say the first day you pass your evaluation account. Now you have 6 more days that you need to trade. Well, there is no consistency rules or anything like that on the evaluation account. So you can basically the next day, you can go on a micro contract and go in and out immediately of a trade, and that will count as a trading day. You can do that for the remaining 6 days, and you will pass your evaluation account. So that is not a problem on evaluation accounts, but as you'll see on funded accounts, that is a problem. So make sure to stay tuned for a full review and understanding of the rules for a prop once you're funded. Okay, don'ts. So the don'ts are don't reach the trailing threshold. That's the big one. Just don't reach the trailing threshold. For example, the $50,000 account has a $2,500 trailing threshold. That really is the most important thing. Just don't reach that trailing threshold. That don't hold trades overnight actually is not really valid, because if you hold trades up to 5 o'clock, Apex will close those trades out automatically. So there's not really a fear of that, but I always just make sure that I'm not in any trade when 5 o'clock comes around. For that 1 hour gap between aftermarket and pre-market, you can't hold a trade during that time. Also, I do want to touch a little bit on the trailing threshold. That is a big deal to some people. Some people just cannot handle, and yeah, they can't trade with a trailing threshold for some reason. A lot of times it's people that are used to, like, that are more of a swing trading mentality and not day trading, where they're used to having big drawdowns. And that is going to be a problem for you if that is how you like to trade. You do have to change your trade, the way that you trade, or go with a different prop firm that doesn't have the trailing threshold. For me personally, the trailing threshold's never been an issue. I trail my stops as I'm making profit to make sure that I don't give a lot of profit back. And I can always re-enter on that trade or on that move if I want to. So again, trailing threshold really is an issue. To explain a little bit how a trailing threshold works, basically it is looking at your unrealized profit. So if you are $500 in profit and you decide not to take, not to basically let it run, and that comes all the way back down to zero, then you lose $500 of your trailing threshold. So instead of having a trailing threshold of 2,500, you would now have a trailing threshold of 2,000. Now, one thing to note is that is only for each amount. How should I explain this? So if the next trade you enter and you are $300 in profit, that will not affect your trailing threshold if that goes back down to zero. You would have to be in profit of over $500 for it to affect your trailing threshold. For example, if if you go over and you're $1,000 in profit the next trade, and you also let that go against you and you get out at break even, now you've lost an additional $500 of trailing drawdown, or a total of $1,000 of trailing drawdown, which your trailing drawdown would now be $1,500. So Apex has a really good video on this, explaining it in detail on how it works with a graph. They can probably explain a little bit better than I can. So if you have questions on that, go to their website and watch videos of them explaining it. But a lot of people look at that as a really negative thing. So just wanted to make sure I point that out. For me, it's never been an issue. Okay, moving on. Now, trade your account. Once you understand the rules, you are good to go. It is time to trade your evaluation account. Now, once you trade your evaluation account, there's obviously going to be 2 different outcomes. You're either going to pass your evaluation account or you're going to fail it. So if you blow your evaluation account, which usually would mean you've gone past that trailing threshold limit. If you try and place a trade after you've done that, it's just going to have an admin only message. That means you've blown the account. After that, you basically have two different options. And the first option that I would recommend is go back to step 2, which is look at which account you want to buy. I seldom recommend doing a reset because the reset costs more than it would to just buy another account. So obviously do your own math and see what makes sense for you. And then you just continue that process until you pass your evaluation account. Obviously, once you pass it, congratulations. That's awesome. You've officially passed your evaluation account. And now you are funded. So once you pass it, which means you've traded for 7 days and you've reached the profit goal, then that evening, usually between 7 o'clock p.m. and 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you will receive 2 emails. The first email would be from Apex, and that email is basically a link to pay for your funded account, which we'll get to in a little bit. And then there's another email from PandaDoc where you basically will have paperwork that you need to fill out. And it's pretty simple. Then obviously you need to pay for your funded account. So when you get that email and you click on the link to pay, you're going to have 2 different options to pay. You can choose to pay on a monthly basis, which is $80 per month, or you can choose option B, and that's a one-time lifetime fee of $140. This is for a 50K account. If you have a different account size, this dollar amount is going to vary. So obviously do your own math and decide what makes sense for you. Me personally, I always go with the one-time lifetime fee because I plan on having my funded accounts for more than 2 months. But to each his own. Moving on, 9 is to understand the funded account rules. So this is very important again. And there's a couple different things that you need to be aware of on funded account rules. So first is obviously your goal now is to reach that profit threshold. And the profit threshold is different than the profit goal you had originally. It's a different amount. For example, on a 50K account, the profit threshold in order to pass your evaluation account on a 50K account was $3,000. Excuse me. Well, to reach your profit threshold on a 50K account in order to be eligible to make a withdrawal, it's only $2,600. So it's a lot less for your profit threshold to reach than it is for the profit goal when you're doing the evaluation account. For example, I'm just going to use this as an example, but on a $300,000 account, the profit goal you need to reach on your evaluation account is $20,000. But when you go to your funded account, you just need to reach $7,600 on that account in order to be able to make a withdrawal. So a huge difference there in profit goal and profit threshold. And obviously it changes based on which account size that you chose. But basically, yeah, that's pretty big deal and a pretty big difference depending on which account size that you chose. Then you need to trade for 10 trading days, not 7, like it was on the evaluation account. So that's also a difference. Then you do need to be consistent on your funded account. Apex is looking for consistent traders. They're not looking for, basically they are trying to weed out the gamblers and trying to, basically there are people that their goal is to get a funded account and they basically go all in and hope to be right. And then the next consecutive 9 days, they'll just do micro transactions and go in and out of trades. And then they want to take out their big payout. And that's not going to work. You're not going to get paid out if that's your goal. So don't even try it. But the goal is just to be consistent. It's to avoid those big windfalls, big gambling traders basically they want to see you be consistent in those 10 trading days. They have a 30% rule that they have, but I can assure you, if you show that you're consistently trading the same size each day, and maybe one day you just had a really nice big win, and let's say that win is 40% of your profit total, and you can show that you still traded the same size the remaining days, I can assure you, you will get paid out. That is not an issue, and that's not what they're trying to avoid. They're trying to avoid the gambling mentality. So again, this sometimes gets misrepresented. If you watch the videos on Apex regarding this consistent, you will hear John and Daryl say the same thing. Moving on to don'ts is don't reach the trailing threshold, same as in the evaluation accounts. It works the same way until you've reached your profit threshold. So this is very important. Once you've reached your profit threshold for a 50K account, it would be $52,600 account balance. Once you've reached that, the trailing drawdown stops, and you can make, you can take your account balance up to 100,000 if you want, and that would then mean you have 50,000, close to $50,000 in drawdown available. So again, once you have a funded account, once you have your account balance has reached your profit threshold, the trailing drawdown stops. Very important. Then the next thing is don't trade the news. Funded accounts cannot trade the news. Evaluation accounts, you can. And that's also something that I see misrepresented quite a bit with Apex Trader. And it's a little bit misrepresented, I feel like, on their site, where they should be a little more clear. Once you go to the rules and look at the rules for a funded account, they clearly stated that you can't trade the news. But if you just go to their website, it does say that you can trade the news. So, but that's talking about an evaluation account. So just know you can't trade the news with a funded account. I just saw this week a Twitter post of someone that traded the CPI news on a funded account, and they made like some crazy $200,000 or something by trading the CPI news. And they're not going to get paid out. You can't trade the news, because that is kind of the same thing as going for those big windfalls, and that's more of a gambling mentality than it is a trading mentality. So moving on, the request for payout. So let's say you trade your funded account, you get to your profit threshold or maybe above it, and you decide, hey, I want to take a payout now. Here is the process. So there's a couple, I'm going to try my best to explain this. They obviously have, videos that pertain to this as well, but I'll try and explain it in layman terms as good as I can, which basically the max withdrawal amount you can take, this is on a $50,000 account. So obviously these amounts change. Some of these change based on what size account that you choose. But the max withdrawal amount you can take is $2,000. The minimum amount you can take is $500, which they just changed. I think is a great change. And then you are allowed 2 withdrawal requests per month. But you do need to have 10 traded days in between your withdrawal requests. So again, hopefully that all makes sense. And anytime that you make a withdrawal request, your account balance has to be $52,600 or more. Obviously, for example, if you've reached your profit threshold of $52,600, now you're eligible to make a request for a withdrawal, and you make a request and you request to withdraw $2,000. You can do that, but if you do that, now your account balance is going to be $50,600 or $50,600. So that means you only are left with $600 of drawdown, actually $500 of drawdown. So to me, it wouldn't really be smart to be taking out $2,000 right when you reach that $52,600 threshold, because now all of a sudden you only have $500 of drawdown left, which is pretty difficult and pretty easy to hit that trailing threshold. And once you hit that, now your account is canceled and you lose your funded account. Another question I've had is, what happens if you lose your funded account? Well, you lose it. Your one-time lifetime fee, that's gone. If you're doing the monthly fee, that's gone. You basically start back to step number 2, and you have to choose another evaluation account and go through the process of passing that and paying for another one-time lifetime fee or your monthly fee. So obviously you'd want to keep the funded accounts for as long as you can, especially if you paid for the one-time lifetime fee. And I always say, treat it as a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, moving on, a couple more things. So these rules apply for 3 months. So they basically want you to be consistent for 3 months, and that, like, they have this payout structure in place for 3 months. On your 4th month, you can withdraw as much as you want. I know there's people that withdrew, once that 4th month came around, they had their account balance really high because they could only take out that much per, every 3 months. On their 4th month, they took out over 800,000. So obviously there's no limit on how much you can grow your account, but then on that 4th month, you can withdraw as much as you want. No limit. Then, so traders keep 100% of the first $25,000 per account. So if you have 20 accounts, that's $500,000. That's 100% yours. Or once after the 25,000, that is a 90-10 split. So you keep 90%, Apex keeps 10%, which I think is more than fair. And then all the payouts are made via deal. So you do need to sign up with deal. Obviously, you'll get an email explaining how to do that, creating a deal account, and you will get paid out through deal. And one thing I don't have in here, but basically at the end of the year, you will get a 1099. You basically are treated as a contract employer. So you basically will get a 1099 to do your taxes from deal. So again, hopefully that makes sense, but I think, yeah, that's all I have. I know this video has always been going a little bit longer than what I hoped, but I just don't know how to condense it more. I'm trying to cover all the bases and trying to cover all the steps. So hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully you found value in this. If you did, like it, comment, subscribe, please. And again, if I missed something, if I misrepresented something on this video, leave a comment below. If you have questions about something, I wasn't clear about it, leave a comment below and I'll do my best to answer them. But again, I really appreciate everyone's support, and we will see you Monday morning when I go live. Hopefully you'll stop in. Take care. Bye.